What you are about to hear is the story of a police officer who didn't believe in miracles, but who saw something that completely changed his life. This is the story of a miracle of the Virgin Mary that nobody expected. Before we continue, share in the comments where you're watching from and what time it is there. Let's see how far the miracles of the Virgin Mary have reached. And if you haven't yet joined our family, subscribe now, because here, each day, we witness the tender love and mighty power of the Mother of God. Marcus Reyes had worn the badge for 17 years. At 44, he still carried himself like the academy recruit he once was. Tall, shoulders square, uniform pressed even on the hottest shifts. Fellow officers at the Southeast Division substation respected him. He never raised his voice to defuse a call. People talked to him, really talked. Domestic disputes ended quieter when Marcus arrived. Kids in rough neighborhoods remembered his name. He listened. He solved problems with calm words and steady eyes. At home, he lived alone in a small apartment near White Rock Lake. No wife, no kids, just a routine. Gym at 0600, shift at 1400, home by 0200 if nothing extended. He didn't go to Massachusetts, didn't own a Bible. His mother, Sophia, carried enough faith for the whole family. She kept a small altar in her living room. Candles, fresh flowers, a framed picture of Our Lady of Guadalupe beside the Sacred Heart. Marcus never mocked it. He simply didn't share it. For him, the world ran on cause and effect, evidence and procedure. Anything else was wishful thinking. His father, Victor, had been different once. A mechanic who fixed cars with the same quiet patience Marcus used on calls. Now Victor was 68 and fading. 5 months earlier, doctors found advanced kidney disease. Function dropped below 15%. Dialysis 3 times a week left him swollen, exhausted, gray. The transplant list in Texas stretched long. Thousands waited, average time years. Victor smiled through it, told everyone he felt fine. The family nodded and pretended to believe him. That Marcus's older brother Javier worked patrol too, different division. Javier's wife Lucia and their 9-year-old daughter Camila visited Sophia often. The house on Ferguson Road stayed full of voices, even when worry hung underneath. That Thursday in July, the heat index hit 108. Asphalt shimmered. Air felt thick enough to chew. Marcus finished roll call, checked his unit, rolled out just after 2200. Midnight neared when dispatch crackled. Unit 7 to 12, possible suspicious activity. Old warehouse district off Harry Hines. Caller reports banging, maybe kids or squatters. Handle it. 7 to 12 en route. Marcus answered that he knew the spot. Row after row of rusted metal buildings from the old manufacturing days. Most sat empty now, broken windows, padlocks long cut. Teens sometimes threw parties inside. Transients slept there when shelters filled. Routine call. Nothing heavy. He pulled up. Gravel crunched under tires. Headlights swept the front. Main door hung half open, swaying slightly. No music. No voices. He killed the engine, grabbed the flashlight, stepped out. Heat pressed against his face like a wet towel. He paused at the threshold. Listened. Silence. Only distant traffic on the freeway and cicadas in the weeds. Marcus pushed the door. Metal groaned loud in the night. He swept the beam inside. Empty space stretched 60 feet. Dust coated the concrete floor. Old cardboard boxes slumped in one corner. Spider webs hung like curtains from the rafters. No fresh trash. No footprints cutting the dust. He stepped in. Boots left clear prints behind him. He moved methodically, checking shadows, corners, blind spots. Standard procedure. Then the light caught something in the exact center of the floor. Far from any wall, far from any door, a statue stood alone, about 18 inches tall. Virgin Mary, hands open in blessing. Blue mantle flowed over a white robe. Face gentle, eyes downcast. The porcelain gleamed. Not a speck of dust. Not a smudge. In a place where everything else carried layers of grime. She looked freshly placed, freshly polished. Marcus froze, he circled slowly. No tracks led to her. No scuff marks. Dust lay undisturbed in a perfect radius around the base. He crouched, examined the floor. Nothing. He stood again, swept the beam upward, across beams, into corners. Empty. How he reached out. Fingers closed around the base. Heavy. Well made. Solid plaster underneath the paint. He lifted it carefully. Turned it. No note. No tag. No clue. His first thought, someone's prank. Second thought, stolen from a church, dumped here. Third thought, unwelcome, unasked. His mother, Sophia's old statue, had shattered 3 months earlier. A family heirloom, passed from her grandmother. She cried quietly the day it broke, wrapped the pieces in cloth, buried them in the backyard under her roses. Marcus remembered her face. Quiet grief. She never asked for a replacement. Never complained. He carried the statue to the patrol car, placed it gently on the passenger seat floor, wrapped in his spare jacket so it wouldn't slide. Closed the door, locked the warehouse behind him. Radioed clear, 7-12 code 4. Just kids messing around earlier. Nothing here now. He didn't mention the statue. Not yet. The rest of the shift passed in routine calls, a noise complaint, a welfare check, paperwork. But every time he glanced at the passenger seat, the blue mantle caught the glow from passing streetlights. When dawn broke and shift ended, Marcus drove straight home. He carried the statue inside, set it on the kitchen table, looked at it a long time. Then he wrapped it in clean towels, careful as if it might break that he knew where it was going. Marcus drove the half hour to Ferguson Road with the windows down. Afternoon heat still baked the city, but a faint breeze carried the smell of cut grass and distant barbecue smoke. The statue sat secured on the passenger seat, wrapped in towels like fragile evidence from a scene. He kept glancing at it, blue mantle peeking through the cloth. No dust, no scratches. Still perfect, Sophia's house appeared at the end of the block. Single-story brick, white shutters, front yard lined with marigolds and zinnias she tended every morning. 2 cars already parked. Javier's pickup and Victor's old Ford, the one he hadn't driven in months. Marcus pulled in behind them, sat for a moment, listened to laughter drifting through the open screen door. Camila's voice. Javier telling his story. Normal sounds. Rare lately. Sophia opened the door before he reached the steps. Marcus, you didn't say you were coming. She pulled him into a hug that smelled of lavender soap and fresh bread. Strong arms for a woman of 71. Hi, Mom. I brought something. Her eyes lit. What is it? He lifted the bundle. Open it inside. Cooler in there. She led him through the living room. Ceiling fan spun lazy circles. Smell of coffee and cinnamon cake filled the air. Javier stood from the couch, clapped Marcus on the back. Little brother, you off early. Shift ended. Thought I'd stop by. Lucia waved from the kitchen doorway. Camila ran over, hugged his leg, then darted back to her coloring book on the floor. Victor sat in the recliner near the window, thinner than last visit. Skin pale, legs propped on the ottoman, swollen at the ankles. He looked up, tried for a smile. Hey, son. Hey, Dad. Marcus kept his voice even. Sophia unwrapped the towel slowly, like opening a gift she already cherished. When the statue emerged, she froze. Hands trembled, eyes filled. Madre de Dios, she cradled it, turned it gently, examined every detail, the open hands, the gentle face, the deep blue of the mantle that caught the afternoon light through the blinds. Where did you find her? Sophia asked. Abandoned warehouse off Harry Hines. Midnight call. Place was empty. Dust everywhere. But she was right in the middle of the floor. Clean. No footprints. Nothing. Sophia looked at him. Really looked. This wasn't chance, Mijo. She wanted you to find her. She chose you. Marcus shifted. Mom, no. Listen. Her voice softened but held steady. 3 months ago, my old statue broke. The one from Abuela. I cried for days. Buried the pieces under the roses. Never asked for another. But here she is. Perfect. In your hands. Javier stepped closer. She's beautiful, Mom. Victor leaned forward in the chair, eyes fixed on the statue. Something shifted in his face. Tired lines softened, gaze sharpened. He didn't speak, just watched. Sophia carried the statue to the small table beside Victor's recliner, placed it carefully, adjusted it so the face looked toward him. There, right where you can see her. Victor reached out. Fingers brushed the base, stayed there a long moment. When he pulled back, his eyes were wet. Not sobbing, just quiet tears. Dad. Marcus stepped nearer. Victor wiped his cheek with the back of his hand. Can she stay close? Right here. Of course, Sophia said. She kissed Victor's forehead. She's home now. The afternoon unfolded slowly. Javier talked shop, recent busts, funny calls. Lucia helped Sophia slice cake. Camila showed Marcus her latest drawing. A family under a big sun, everyone smiling. Marcus listened, nodded, but his eyes kept drifting to the statue. To his father, Victor glanced at it every few minutes. Not staring, just checking. Each time he looked, his shoulders eased a fraction. Breathing seemed less labored. When the others moved to the kitchen for more coffee, Marcus sat on the ottoman beside the recliner. Dad, when Mom showed her to you, did something happen? Victor took time to answer. Looked at his son with an expression Marcus hadn't seen since childhood. Open, unguarded. You'll think I'm losing it. I won't. When I saw her, Victor paused. Searched for words. It was like someone turned on a light in a room I didn't know was dark. The weight I carry, the tiredness, the fear, it got lighter. Just for a second. But I felt it. Marcus stayed quiet. Part of him wanted to list reasons. Placebo effect, hope response, emotional trigger. Psychology 101. But the look in Victor's eyes stopped him. Raw. Real. If she helps you feel better, Marcus said finally. Then I'm glad I found her. Victor smiled. Small. Genuine. First real one in weeks. Thank you for bringing her, son. Marcus stayed until dusk. Hugged everyone. Held Victor a beat longer. Felt the thin shoulders under his hands. Driving home, streetlights flickered on. Radio played low, weather report promising more heat. Marcus gripped the wheel. Mind replayed the scene. Victor's tears, the statue's clean porcelain, Sophia's certainty. Just imagination, he muttered to the empty car, but the words sounded thinner than before. 5 days passed. Marcus worked his regular shifts, traffic stops, welfare checks, the occasional domestic call that ended with everyone still breathing and doors still on hinges. Dallas stayed hot. The asphalt radiated heat well into the evening. He drank water constantly, kept the AC on high in the patrol car, tried not to think too much about the statue sitting on the small table next to his father's recliner. He told himself it was just an object. A well-made devotional piece someone had forgotten or abandoned. Nothing more. His father liked looking at it. That was enough. Then the phone rang. Thursday morning, 8:12 a.m. Marcus had just walked into his apartment after night shift. Uniform still on. Coffee halfway to his lips. Caller ID showed Sophia. Mom? Hector, you need to come now. Her voice trembled, not with fear, but with something else. Something bright. What happened? Is Dad just come? Please. She hung up. Marcus dropped the mug in the sink. Changed into jeans and a t-shirt in under 30 seconds. Keys. Door. Engine. He drove faster than he should have on I-30, heart rate climbing with every mile. Worst-case scenarios ran through his head. Stroke, fall, sudden decline. Dialysis complications. The doctors had warned them that he pulled into the driveway, so hard gravel sprayed. Sophia opened the door before he reached it. Eyes red, but she was smiling. Wide. Tears on her cheeks, but not sad ones. The hospital called, she said. Her voice shook with emotion. They found a donor. A perfect match. For your father. Marcus stood frozen on the porch. What? After 5 months on the list. Nothing. No movement. Then this morning, out of nowhere, a compatible donor. All tests line up. Surgery tomorrow. Victor appeared behind her in the doorway. Still thin, still slow, but his face looked different. Color in his cheeks. Eyes clear. Hope. It's true, son, Victor said quietly. Doctor said the tissue match is exceptional. Rare. They're moving fast. Marcus looked from his mother to his father. Back again. But the list was huge. Thousands waiting. They said it could take years. I know, Sophia said. She stepped aside so he could come in. 5 days. She's been here 5 days. Marcus followed her eyes. The statue stood on the small table exactly where they had left it. Afternoon light from the window caught the blue mantle. Made it glow softly. He opened his mouth. Closed it. Coincidence, he said finally. It has to be. Sophia only smiled. If you say so, Mijo. The rest of the day blurred. Phone calls to relatives. Packing a small bag for Victor. Last-minute instructions from the transplant coordinator. The family sat together that evening, quiet, nervous, holding on to each other. Next morning, they were all at Baylor University Medical Center by 5 a.m. Waiting room smelled of disinfectant and old coffee. Sophia held her rosary the entire time, beads moving steadily between her fingers. Javier paced. Lucia kept Camila occupied with coloring books. Marcus sat still, stared at the floor. Tried not to count the minutes. 8 hours later, the surgeon came out. Scrubs still on. Face tired but calm. Everything went well, he said. The kidney is functioning immediately. No complications during the procedure. The compatibility really was exceptional. We don't see matches this clean very often. Sophia collapsed into Javier's arms. Tears. Laughter. Hugs. Camila jumped up and down. Marcus stayed seated a moment longer. Processing. Can we see him? Sophia asked, wiping her face. Soon, the doctor said. He's in recovery. 2 hours, short visit only. When they finally walked into the room, Victor looked small in the hospital bed, tubes, monitors, bandages, but he was breathing easier. Eyes open. Weak smile when he saw them. It worked, he whispered. Yes, dear, Sophia said. She took his hand. It worked. Marcus stood at the foot of the bed, watched his father's chest rise and fall. Steady. Alive. Weeks followed. Hospital monitoring. Daily labs. Anti-rejection meds. Every checkup, the doctors shook their heads in quiet surprise. Adaptation is perfect, one nephrologist said. I've been doing this 20 years. This is extraordinary. No rejection. No infections. The new kidney worked as though it had always belonged there. 2 months after surgery, Victor received full discharge. He walked out of the hospital on his own feet, slow, careful, but walking. Marcus drove them home to N01 spoke for the first 10 minutes. Windows down. Warm September air moving through the car. Then Victor broke the silence from the back seat. It was her. Marcus kept his eyes on the road. What, Dad? The Virgin Mary. 5 days after she came into the house, the donor appears. Perfect match. Doctors said it was rare. Extraordinary. Sophia reached over from the passenger seat, put her hand on Victor's knee. Miracles happen, Mijo, she said softly. You don't have to believe. But they happen. Marcus gripped the steering wheel tighter. Said nothing. Inside his head, 2 voices argued. 1 listed statistics. Thousands on lists. Random matches. Medical luck. The other remembered the warehouse. Dust everywhere except around the statue. No footprints. No explanation. And now his father. Alive. Going home. He didn't answer. But the argument inside him grew quieter. Victor kept improving. Each week brought small victories. He walked farther without stopping to rest. The swelling in his legs went down. Color returned to his face. He started helping Sophia in the kitchen again, chopping vegetables, setting the table. Simple things that had felt impossible 2 months earlier. The doctors kept saying the same thing at every follow-up. Adaptation this smooth is rare. We're very pleased. Marcus visited almost daily after shifts. He brought takeout from the taqueria on Buckner Boulevard that Victor liked. Sat on the porch with him while the evening cooled. Watched his father laugh at Javier's stories. Listen to Camila read aloud from her school books. Normal life returning, piece by piece. One Saturday in late August, the family gathered at the house. Javier and Lucia brought ribs to grill. Camila chased fireflies in the backyard as dusk fell. Sophia hummed in the kitchen, preparing sides. Victor insisted on manning the grill himself, first time in months. Marcus stayed inside to help carry plates. At one point, he found himself alone in the living room. The statue stood on the small table near the window. Afternoon light slanted through the blinds, catching the blue mantle and making it shimmer. Sophia had added a fresh vase of white lilies beside it. A single candle burned low in a red glass holder. Marcus stepped closer that he looked at the face. Gentle, downcast eyes, open hands. Same face that had stared back at him from the dusty warehouse floor. He spoke quietly, almost to himself. "I don't understand you." His voice stayed low. "No one else in the room. I don't know if you're real. I don't know if what happened to Dad is because of you, or if it's just statistics lining up, or doctors getting lucky, or something science hasn't explained yet." He paused, looked at the painted hands. "But if you're here, if any part of this is true, thank you. Thank you for my father, for letting him come home, for giving us more time." He felt foolish, talking to porcelain, to paint and plaster. But the words came anyway. The air changed. First a faint sweetness, then stronger. Roses, fresh cut, dewy, the way they smell right after watering in the morning. The scent rolled through the room, thick, unmistakable, filling every corner. Marcus froze. No roses in the house. Sophia grew marigolds, zinnias, a few herbs. No roses. The garden window stood open, but the breeze carried only grass and charcoal from the grill outside. The smell intensified, wrapped around him, pressed against his skin like warm hands. His heart slammed once. Hard, he took a step back. Breath caught. "Mom?" His voice came out thinner than he meant. The scent held for several long seconds. Overwhelming, alive, then slowly faded. Like someone had carried the bouquet away down a hallway. A minute later it was gone. Completely. Marcus stood there, hands trembling slightly, staring at the statue. The painted eyes looked back. Not accusing, not demanding, just present, kind. Footsteps from the back door. Victor appeared, holding tongs from the grill. Face flushed from the heat outside. "Marcus? You okay? You look pale." Marcus turned, saw his father, alive, upright, strong enough to grill ribs on a Saturday. "Dad." I smelled roses. Victor stepped fully into the room, set the tongs on the side table, looked at the statue, then at his son. "I smelled it too," he said quietly. "The first day you brought her. Just a whisper. Thought it was my imagination. But it was there." Marcus swallowed. "It's not possible. There are no roses here." Victor walked over, placed a hand on Marcus's shoulder. "Steady. Warm. Not everything has to be possible to be real, son." He squeezed once. "Gentle. You brought her home. She stayed. Your old man is still here because of it. That's enough for me." Marcus looked at his father's hand on his shoulder, then at the statue. The light had shifted. The blue mantle glowed deeper now. Victor picked up the tongs again. "Come outside when you're ready. Burgers are almost done." He walked back toward the door, paused. "And Marcus?" "Yeah. Thank you. For listening that day. For bringing her." Victor stepped out. Laughter and the sizzle of meat drifted in from the yard. Marcus stayed a moment longer, alone with the statue. The room felt quieter now. Calmer. He didn't have answers. Not clean ones. Not ones he could write in a report or explain in a briefing. But the smell had been real. His father was real. And for the first time in years, the weight inside his chest felt lighter. He turned off the candle, walked to the back door. Outside, the family waited. That night Marcus drove home through quiet streets. Streetlights cast long shadows on the pavement. Radio off. Mind loud. He parked in his spot near White Rock Lake. Carried nothing inside but questions. The apartment felt smaller than usual. Bare walls, single bed, coffee pot on the counter. He skipped the shower, walked straight to the bedroom. He knelt beside the bed, first time since childhood. Knees on the hard floor, hands open on his thighs. No rosary, no memorized prayers, just words from somewhere deep. I don't know if you hear this. I don't know how it works. But thank you, Virgin Mary, for the statue, for Dad, for showing me the world might hold more than reports and evidence. Silence answered. No scent, no light, no voice, but peace settled. Quiet, steady, like tension releasing from a locked jaw. He stood, slept deeper than he had in months. September came. Heat broke. Leaves turned early along the lake trails. Victor kept gaining strength. Walked the block without stopping. Fixed the neighbor's carburetor one morning. First job in half a year. Doctors cleared him for light work. Keep doing what you're doing, they said. This recovery sets records. 10 weeks after that July midnight, exact night of the warehouse call, Marcus ended patrol. Clock hit 0200. He drove the familiar route past Harry Hines. The old warehouse appeared on the right. Metal door still swung loose in the wind. Rusted walls unchanged. Gravel lot empty. He pulled over. Killed the lights. Stepped out. Flashlight stayed in the car. The door creaked open a few inches. Darkness inside. He pictured it clear. Dust floor. No footprints. Statue in the center. Clean. Waiting. Thank you, he said aloud. Voice carried into the empty space. No echo. No sign. He got back in the car. Drove home. Last Sunday of September, the family gathered for barbecue in Sophia's backyard. Grill smoked with mesquite and brisket. Victor's recipe, passed from his own father. He flipped burgers with steady hands. Javier argued sauce recipes, both laughing loud. Camila ran circles, chasing Sophia's cat through the grass. Lucia set the picnic table under the pecan tree. Normal. Full. Alive. Marcus sat in a lawn chair, beer cold in his hand. Watched it all. 2 months ago, this scene stayed impossible. Dialysis bags. Hospital beeps. Empty recliner. After plates cleared, everyone scattered. Kids to the yard. Men to the garage. Sophia to dishes. Marcus stepped inside alone. The statue held its place on the table near the window. Late afternoon sun poured golden through the glass. Blue mantle caught the light. Shone soft, deep. Lilies fresh beside it. Candle unlit. He touched the mantle. Cool porcelain under his fingers. Believing isn't about proof, he said quietly. Maybe it's about leaving room for what you can't explain. Victor's laugh boomed from the backyard. Strong, full, the old laugh Marcus remembered from childhood Little League games. Thank you, Marcus said again, for giving him back. The light held steady on the statue. If the glow came from reflection or something more, Marcus no longer cared. His father lived. Family together. That counted. Before we close, I invite you to join our prayer community dedicated to the Virgin Mary, a place where people from every corner of the world come together to pray, share graces, and support one another. If your heart feels drawn to be part of this chain of prayer, click below to become a member today and pray with us. And if you've stayed until the end of Marcus's story, do one small thing for me. Write "Miracle of the Virgin Mary" in the comments, because some things have no explanation, only gratitude. I want to see how many hearts this reached. Every time I read "Miracle of the Virgin Mary," I'll know one more person believes the miracles of Our Lady still happen today. But if this touched you, subscribe and turn on notifications. Share your own miracle in the comments, big or small. Sometimes we just need a reminder that hope lives, even when logic runs out. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. May the Virgin Mary continue to watch over you and your family. Amen.